Hi and welcome back. In this tutorial, we'll discuss the role and usage of the Recording Toolbar. The Recording Toolbar contains some tools for recording as well as editing. We're going to go over the different functions of the Recording Toolbar, and I'll be talking a little bit about using the piano roll. Once you've watched the rest of the tutorials, you may want to come back to this video once you've gotten some of the fundamentals down. To start with, we have a really great feature, which is the typing keyboard feature. This allows you to use your computer keyboard like a MIDI keyboard. You don't have to have any special equipment to use this feature, just your regular keyboard. To apply this function, simply left-click the button and then you can begin playing. In a regular QWERTY keyboard setup, the Z key represents C4 and the Q key represents C5. Then, from left to right on your keyboard, you can go up the scale in 2 octaves and beyond, all the way up to G6. The sharps and flats are played on the line of keys above the Z and Q row. This is great if you don't have a MIDI keyboard or just want to test sounds. You can record your playing just like a regular MIDI keyboard, and the audio logger records your playing as well. So if you ever tap something out that you missed recording, remember you have a 3-minute buffer in the audio logger, and you can go to the Tools menu item and select Dump Score Log to selected pattern. You can also right-click on this control to select an octave up or down, giving you virtually an entire keyboard. Below this, we have the metronome, which is controlled by the tempo you have the program set to. You can also change the metronome's count by adjusting the time signature of the project by going into the Settings panel and opening your project settings. This will change the length of the step sequencer's bar if needed to show an accurate representation of the individual beats and steps. The metronome can be turned off and on by left-clicking and will not be recorded into a rendered file. The sound of the metronome can be changed by right-clicking the icon and selecting either a beep or a hi-hat sound. The next 2 options we have are related to when the program will begin recording. When you have the countdown before recording set to on, the program will give you a 4 count before beginning playback and record. Right-clicking this icon gives us the option for 1 or 2 bars, which will give you the amount of time you need to prepare. If you have the Wait for Input option turned on, FL Studio will be paused once you hit record and will not begin playback or recording until you hit a key, either on a MIDI keyboard or on your computer keyboard. If you have this option turned on, even when you want to simply play back your track, the wait will happen. To alleviate this, right-click the icon and select Only While Recording. This way you can play back your track without having to enter data to get things moving, but you can still utilize this function for recording. These functions are very useful as they offer you the ability to get set up before the actual recording begins. The next option we have is for blending existing data with new data. Keep this box checked in order to play along with something you have already recorded and not overwrite it. This function will add the notes you've already recorded to the notes that you are currently recording. The step editing feature is a great way to get your idea down on paper, so to speak, even if you can't play it outright. This method of recording doesn't even require you to use the record button. All you have to do is turn on step editing mode and begin playing. Each note you hit will advance the cursor position to the next step. This way, if you know what you want to play, but maybe can't play it in time or as fast as you like, you can take your time and enter the notes at your own pace, and they will be played back at the tempo the song is set to. You can use the / and asterisk key to move backward and forward respectively. This works great if you were trying to transcribe someone else's music into FL Studio and simply want to get the notes down to edit later. Make sure to deselect the step editing option when you finish. We also have an option for loop recording, which is a cool feature to use if you're trying to get that perfect take. Simply turn the loop record button on and press the record button. Make sure that you have selected the appropriate settings and press the play button. This record mode will actually play the current pattern over and over, recording the data as you enter. This will overdub any existing data as you play, so it's best to use this mode on longer patterns. But again, if you have a 16-bar pattern and you're trying to nail a part or fix any errors in an existing part, you can use loop record mode to go over it and over it until you get it just right. Below this, we have an option for auto scroll. With this option on, the piano roll and the playlist will automatically scroll from left to right as soon as the timeline cursor moves out of the screen. This comes in handy when you are playing back your project and watching it in either the playlist or the piano roll, and you want to follow what's happening on the screen. Beside this, we have the multi-link feature, which we'll go over in a separate video, but for now, just know that this great new feature allows you to create multiple links at once so that you can create automation moves and join together plugins to work together. In previous versions, you had to link controls together one by one, but now you can tick this box, tweak the controls you want to link, and then untick the box to begin linking. Again, we'll discuss this more in detail later. The last item we have on the recording toolbar is the snap selector. The snap selector allows you to perfectly quantize your project as you edit notes in automation, pattern, and audio clips in the playlist or piano roll. The way it's used is this. While in the piano roll or playlist, you can see the graph illustrates for us the spacing and length of notes. When you draw out a note or a clip, it will automatically snap into place. If you're drawing a note out, again, the settings of the snap selector determine the length that is drawn out at one time. You have different settings to choose from and can even select the None option to draw out or move your notes to any space you want. This is a tool you will certainly be using as you create your project and will be something to be aware of as you are drawing out your notes, as you may want to have different length notes or notes that aren't exactly snapped to the beat. If you don't keep up with the settings of the snap selector, you can end up moving notes when you don't mean to, or end up drawing notes incorrectly, costing you time. We have one more toolbar to discuss before we start looking into actually producing some music, so thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.